G'day. In this video, we're going to look at configuring our Tkinter windows. There's a lot of stuff we can do. Let's get into it. Here we've just got a simple class. It just displays a plain window. I added some buttons for a little bit of extra interest. Let's have a look at it. There it is. It's nothing special. We can just maximize, minimize the window, close it, but resize it. It doesn't do anything except that. So what's the first thing we can configure? Well, you might like to give your window a title in the title bar, and we can use the title method to do that. So if we run it again and we have a look at it, you can't see it yet, but it's up there. We just got to resize the window a bit so that we can see it. There it is. But I don't want to have to resize it all the time manually. Let's actually set the size of the window. We can do that using the geometry command. 300 pixels wide by 250 pixels tall. Let's have a look now. Looks better. Now I can see the title, see the buttons. It's looking good. Not only can I set the size with the geometry command though, I can also tell it how far away from the edges of the screen to display the app. The plus 1000 means 1000 pixels from the left, and the plus 300 means 300 pixels from the top. If I put a negative sign there instead of the plus, it would be from the right edge or from the bottom instead. Let's see where it shows the app this time. And there's the window, 1000 pixels away and 300 down. Not only can we move our window around and change its size, we can give it a maximum and a minimum size as well. That way we can control how big or how small it can get exactly. These are in pixels too. So now we can readjust the size of our app, but it's going to have a maximum and a minimum. Even if we maximize the app, it'll still maintain that size. That could be something useful for you. If you don't want to resize it at all though, you might want to set it to not allow to be resized. And we can do that using the resizable method. The 0 means it's going to turn it off. First one's width, second 0 is height. So that's not going to allow either of them to be resized. If you put a 1 there, then that would allow them to be resized. So now, I don't have a maximize button. I can't maximize my app. I can't change its size. I can still minimize it, but I can't change the size of the window. That's what the resizable command does. That can be very handy. On Windows, you can give your app an icon. I've got this little picture over here that I'm going to use in my app, and when I run it now, it's going to display up here next to my title. It just personalizes the window a bit more. Depending upon what operating system you're using, you can configure other options as well. Let's see what I've got on this machine. This is a Windows box. Let's see what the other attributes I can configure are. This is just going to print them out in the terminal down the bottom. So I run my app, and there's the other attributes printed out down there. Let's have a look at some of them. First one we're going to look at is this one called Tool Window. That's going to change some of the things we can do with our window. You'll see now we've lost our minimize and maximize buttons, and I can't really do much to the app, but that's partly because I've still got the resizable option set. So let's change that. Let's make it so the app can be resized and run it again. Now you can see I can still resize the app, but I still don't have the minimize and maximize buttons. However, if I double click on the title, on Windows at least, I can maximize the app. So a combination of things can let you do all kinds of stuff with your windows. But there are other attributes we can use as well. Let's turn that one off. There's a full screen attribute. This one won't run at the moment. It's going to give me an error. So when I click play, I'll get this error down the bottom. And it's telling me that my max width and height is too small. What that means is I've got this line of code up here. And if I keep that line of code, the full screen attribute's not going to work. So if I comment out that code, now I could set my app to go full screen. And this is actually going to make the window take up the entire screen. And you won't even see the title bar. Let's have a quick look. There it is. Got the buttons right up the top, but no title bar. It's a bit of a pain to get out of it. I'm just going to kill the terminal. Another thing you can do is set the attributes to disable the window. Disabling the window does what it says. You can't do anything with the window. You can't move it around. You can't click on it. You can't even click the buttons. Kill the terminal again. That's going to be the easiest way to close it. So disabling might be something you want to do when someone does something in your app. If you do the topmost attribute and you had multiple windows, it would bring this one on top of all the others. Multiple TK in a Windows, that is. Doesn't mean anything for VS Code or other non-TK windows. This one might be useful to you as well. If you want a transparent app, or partially transparent app, you can set the alpha. 0 would be fully transparent. So this is 0.1. And if you had 1.0, that would be fully opaque. So anywhere in between is fine. So they can give you some interesting ideas on what you can do with the window. But there's still a couple more things we can do. Let's turn that transparency off and let's add a different one. Did you notice, just quickly, that when we make this one transparency, the title bar is transparent too? You might not want that. You might want a kind of a different look. So have a look at this one. If you set a background color for your window, and then you also set the attribute for the transparent color, and they're the same color, green in this case, it's going to give you a window that looks like this. You still got the title bar, but now the actual window, or all the objects inside the window, are on a transparent background. You can still click on things, and it is transparent if I drag it across. That's not bad. You might be able to do something with that. There's one other thing you might like to try too, is this one, this override redirect. If you set it to 1, what it'll do is it'll give you a window with nothing around it. No title bar, no close X bar buttons, anything. It's just got the window inside by itself. That gives me an idea. How about if I combine this one and the transparent background? What's that going to do? Oh, that's an interesting thing. You might be able to use that to create some interesting kind of applications. There are other options you can use. It's a good idea to keep looking for things and try things out. But don't just watch the videos. Make sure you go and write some code. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video.